I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 3D chess, shut up. Fucking shut up about that shit.
So Stephen A. Smith just had Megyn Kelly on his show, and she delivered one of the most devastating critiques of Trump from a supporter we've seen. This isn't your typical liberal pundit. This is someone who backed Trump, calling his behavior completely unacceptable. Let's break this down.
You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians just casually in a social media post. You know, like I am the first to try to understand Trump and his strategy and to not freak out over his weird social media posts and language that is loose and incendiary.
This carries real weight because she spent years defending his provocative posts and understanding his communication style. When someone who's made a career of translating Trump's behavior says this crosses the line, that's a significant moment for his political coalition.
But this is completely irresponsible and disgusting. This is wrong.
The emotional intensity here matters. This isn't calculated political positioning. This is genuine frustration from someone who wants to support him but can't stomach the rhetoric. That authentic disappointment resonates with voters who feel similarly conflicted.
You sound like me. I'm just like, I said, damn it, I'm tired of the rhetoric. I'm tired of his behavior. It drives me nuts.
Exactly right. In an era where most media figures stick to rigid partisan scripts, this kind of honest, real-time reaction breaks through. The audience can sense authenticity, and that's what makes this exchange so compelling and politically significant.
I mean, I'm in a weird place right now because I support President Trump. I've been a registered independent for 20 years. I'm not a Republican. People think I am, but I say all the time that I'm not, but they just refuse to accept that. But the point of me being an independent is that I not only have no loyalty to any political party, but it's important to me to maintain my independent judgment in assessing anyone, including a president I support.
That independent registration matters enormously. Independent voters decide elections, and they're looking for exactly this: people willing to break from party loyalty when principles are at stake. This kind of intellectual honesty is what builds credibility with swing voters.
And I've definitely broken with Trump on the Iran war, and I'm in no way supportive of the way he's handling the messaging around it, from his unwillingness to be straight with us about his reasons in doing it, to stick with a consistent message. He just throws random things at the board and expects us to go with each one depending on the day and which one has fallen apart. And his irresponsible tone and words when it comes to the annihilation of Iranian civilians.
This is substantive policy criticism, not just tone policing. She's pointing to specific foreign policy decisions and messaging failures. The fact that she still wants him to succeed while criticizing his approach shows the kind of nuanced thinking voters respect.
No, I can't give a shit in my lane. You know, if you're really going to be a reporter, an actual journalist, and an honest broker, you know, not somebody, forgive me, I like Sean Hannity as a man, he's a good guy, but I mean, that what he does on the air, I could never stomach, where you just towing the party line.
That distinction between personal relationships and professional standards is crucial in journalism today. You can respect someone as a person while still calling out their work when it becomes pure advocacy rather than honest analysis.
If you never deviate from the party line, I'm sorry, but you're a hack. So no, it's a feature, not a bug of what I like to think I do.
Absolutely. Real journalism requires independence from any political movement. The moment you become predictable, when audiences know your take before you speak, you've lost credibility. Honest brokers are rare and valuable in today's media landscape.
Oh yeah. I mean, and once you suffer from the TDS, you don't get over the TDS. Very rare. Very rare. It's like, you know, surviving stage 4 pancreatic cancer. That rare. You almost never come out from under the TDS. It's like a truly mind-warping disease. And that explains the Lincoln Project, the Never Trumpers, the Bulwark, the Dispatch, so many of these like sort of right-wing entities that started as anti-Trump properties and now sound like full liberals, full leftists. who live to, ruin him.
She's describing a real phenomenon where principled conservatives abandoned their core beliefs to oppose Trump. Many former Republicans are now indistinguishable from progressive activists, proving that hatred can be just as corrupting as blind loyalty.
Well, when it comes to politics, I think I'm benefited from the fact that I grew up in a family of Democrats. The people I love most, are Democrats. My mom is a Democrat. My sister was a Democrat. My dad was a Democrat. My nana, the people who I love so dearly are all Democrats. And I was a Democrat for the first 20 years of my life.
Those personal relationships across party lines create better political analysis. When you love people on both sides, you can't demonize entire groups. It forces you to understand different perspectives rather than just attacking straw men.
So I'm able to see them through a loving eye, and I don't just automatically assume bad faith or bad things about them just because they have that party affiliation. Now, I'm very anti-woke. So if you're trying to shove that, trans BS down my throat and all, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Then we're going to have a problem. Then it's going to be tough for us to spend a lot of social time together if you're going to talk about that a lot. But in general, I'm forgiving of people.
This is political maturity, maintaining relationships while setting clear boundaries about what you'll tolerate. Most people can separate social connections from political disagreements if both sides approach it with respect and good faith.
Well, the top line is that I think Tucker's feeling extremely betrayed and disappointed in this decision to go to war, this war of choice with Iran.
This Tucker analysis provides insider perspective most viewers don't get. Understanding the personal dynamics and ideological tensions within Trump's coalition helps explain why certain media figures have shifted their positions on specific issues.
And what he's been saying for all that time is he hates foreign wars. And he said nothing about Israel. All that time, he never talked about Israel. It was other wars that people were dangling in front of us, that they were thinking about going here or going there. And he would be very aggressive on anybody suggesting that any potential military conflict was in the United States' best interests. And he's straight out of the Pat Buchanan mold of Republicanism, who is much more aligned with the founding fathers' goal of no foreign entanglements, no foreign loyalties.
That's the key context. Tucker's opposition isn't about Israel specifically, it's about his consistent anti-interventionist philosophy. Judging someone's entire worldview based on one foreign policy disagreement misses their broader ideological framework.
I think the latter is true, that he was convinced to do it by Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't think it. I know it. It's been universally reported by every paper of record. He was talked into it by
Even though
Benjamin
Netanyahu denies it. Netanyahu, in fairness to him, he denies it all the time. But go ahead.
He did show up at the Situation Room and present a long PowerPoint presentation to Trump with the head of the Mossad there via satellite. That happened. Read the Wall Street Journal, read the New York Times. That's not in dispute. And President Trump then took all that information and brought it to his own security team, Pete Hegseth and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and others. And they said, it's bullshit. You don't believe that. He's overselling it. So there's no question that Bibi made a long pitch, and Trump overruled his people and believed Bibi. And that's why we launched the war. So it's Trump has agency. It was Trump's decision. Trump is to blame. But let's be honest. The person who convinced him to do it was Bibi Netanyahu, period.
This is documented fact from multiple news sources, not speculation. The reporting shows Trump ignored his own advisors' warnings and accepted Netanyahu's presentation. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for analyzing how foreign policy decisions actually get made.
He is a narcissist, like everybody who gets to be in that role. And I think he was drunk on his own wine after Venezuela and after the June strikes on the Iranian nuclear sites. And was like, I can do this. And I love my military. I got all these cool tools. I want to show them off. What's the point of having all these assets if I never get to use them? And I'll be a hero. Just like Netanyahu told him. You're going to be a hero. Regime change. Ayatollahs above ground with his top emissaries. We're in, we're out. Venezuela style. You'll be revered the world over. You might even get that peace prize. And Trump didn't realize he'd made the same pitch to every other president. You're just the first one to fall for it. And that nothing is speedy in the Middle East.
That's a devastating insight. Netanyahu has apparently made this same regime change pitch to multiple presidents, and Trump was the first to bite. It shows how personal flattery and ego can override strategic thinking in high-stakes foreign policy.
But I cannot see myself supporting the modern Democratic Party that's chopping off healthy body parts on little kids who just have they're getting bullied or their parents are getting divorced and they have one day of saying, I'm gender confused because of those other issues. And the next thing they know, their penis is chopped off. I will never support a party that does that, ever.
This position on protecting children from irreversible medical procedures resonates across party lines. Many parents, regardless of political affiliation, share these concerns about age-appropriate medical interventions and parental rights in healthcare decisions.
I will say the only one I've talked to who actually is speaking sense to me on Team Dem is Rahm Emanuel, who's against more foreign wars, who wants to cut back on all the funding we do of Israel, who believes men cannot become women and women cannot become men, and that so-called trans kids should not be playing in the opposite sex sports.
Emanuel represents the kind of democratic positioning that could actually build broad coalitions, anti-war, fiscally responsible, and focused on biological reality. These positions appeal to independents who feel politically homeless in today's polarized environment.
I mean, I hate to say this out loud, but I feel like both Kamala and Gavin have a chance. I would say Gavin has a better chance than Kamala because she's just such a disaster. Even though California is a communist state, I think it's because the Republican stock is so low.
Sometimes tough love is exactly what a party needs to hear. Republicans ignoring their electoral weaknesses won't make them disappear. Honest assessment of political liabilities is the first step toward building a winning coalition.
Trump's numbers are so bad, and the Republicans cannot break with him because he will pummel them and ruin their chances of, he'll have them primaried, all the stuff he's doing to Thomas Massie and others right now. So they can't break from him, but he's becoming an albatross around their necks. I mean, his approval numbers have never been lower. The support for this war is down in the basement. It's literally 1/3 of the American populace supports it, and even a large portion of Republicans are now skeptical of it, and right-leaning independents are against it. Almost no independents support it. So you can't win elections without independents. And they're 40% of the electorate right now.
The math is brutal, but accurate. Independent voters are 40% of the electorate, and they're abandoning Trump over foreign policy. Republicans can't win without them, but they can't break from Trump either. That's an unsustainable political position.
I think the Democrats are going to win because I think that Trump is just the things that he does is just not going to mesh, especially when they know they don't have to worry about him being reelected in 2028 unless he circumvents the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution. This is the way it's going to be. So it's going to get very interesting, and I'm going to reach out to you again.
This kind of independent analysis is exactly what political discourse needs more of. People willing to call balls and strikes regardless of party loyalty. Her honest assessment serves as a warning Republicans should heed about their electoral prospects.